Hey, I've taken a look at much of the new Scooby-Doo movies, the series where Scooby crossed over with and or met famous celebrities and characters, and over the years, the franchise has replicated this format, including for a whole series reboot in Guess Who. But do you remember the episode where they did this in What's New Scooby-Doo? Our story today starts with the series theme song, iconic to everyone who grew up with it, which was performed by the band Simple Plan. A Canadian band, it was formed in 1999 at the peak of this era, 3 years before performing the theme in 2002, with What's New also using the great song I'd Do Anything in an episode, as heard in the prior video about What's New that I did. The theme song has been so iconic that not only do they still sometimes perform the song live, but in 2021, they re-recorded the song and put it on streaming. Back in 2002, the band was made up of 5 main members: Pierre, Jeff, Sebastian, David, and Chuck, though David did depart the band in 2019 following allegations by a fan that are quite shocking, his 3rd overall departure. So why are we here today again? Because in classic style, the gang crossed over with Simple Plan, their theme song performers, in the 2nd season of the show. Today we're looking at Season 2, Episode 9, Simple Plan and the Invisible Madman, originally aired March 22nd, 2004. This episode also does see the return of recurring character Gibby Norton, voiced by Eddie Deven, the nerd obsessed and infatuated with Velma, appearing 3 times in the series overall. Let's get into this one. The episode opens up in Canada, so you know we got that moose out as the band's bus drives by. All of them are just chilling, Chuck annoying Pierre, but then his drumsticks start drumming themselves, as if by a ghost. Their roadie Zeke gets tossed from the wheel, and everything turns to chaos as they head straight into a high voltage warning sign. Not knowing the outcome, we appropriately get them playing the theme song from here. The moose is obviously still around as the gang arrive, here for the Montreal Rock Festival.
I created this new MP3 player. It can hold 400,000 songs. I call it the V-Pod.
So, like, where do you plug in the headphones?
Aw, man! I knew I forgot something.
I love the 2000s. The gang are shocked when they see a wrecked bus, uncovering the snowy window and getting a scare by the band. Zeke gets the door open for everyone to get out, and the gang are excited to meet them. But while they speak of an invisible madman attack, Scoob notices something strange happening with the van. Zeke tells Velma about his experience and attack, while she completely ignores Scooby frantically trying to point out the very real danger. Zeke's overprotectiveness seems a little overkill, but the band trusts him. Fred offers them a lift, and Scoob tries to say it's no good, but Velma's not having it. Somehow they squish them all in, but Fred realizes too late that the brakes aren't working, which has them speeding down a hill and almost hitting that moose again.
Good thing we were wearing our seatbelts, but I wonder why my homemade airbags didn't. There they go.
Daphne suggests going back to the abandoned ghost town, and Zeke promises to take care of the band's stuff for them, recruiting the boys as honorary roadies. Probably should have said no to that one. They make it to an inn, where Zeke wants everything just right, and they meet the owner, Jack Hunter. In fact, he owns the town, Huntersville, and supposedly has big plans for what he's going to do with it. The boys ask for food, so we all make our way to the diner, where he's also the cook since there's nobody here to employ. Meanwhile, the band decides to do some practice while they have nothing else to do, Daphne excited about a private show, and everyone listens in for a performance of Simple Plan's The Worst Day Ever, a fitting song for their situation.
6 a.m., the clock is ringing, I need to spend.
We don't get to hear much though, as the Invisible Madman starts a food fight and then violently throws everyone in the diner around. They all run out safe and look back, until they realize that Jeff is missing. Fred takes charge and has everyone split up to look for clues, starting with some footprints in the snow headed for the forest.
I'm not worried since we have that big strong dog on our team.
Yeah, I bet nothing frightens him.
You're right.
The first team make it to Hunter Computer Labs, where Fred believes it to be empty, but Velma's Gibby senses are tingling. Out he walks, as it turns out he works here, because of course he does.
It's high-tech computer stuff for Mr. Hunter, but I can't tell you any more than that. Nope, nothing more.
Daphne sicks Velma on him, who is not thrilled about this at all, understandably.
And I was wondering if, your really big brain wouldn't mind sharing just a little bit of information with me, please.
Please don't stroke his very big brain's ego. Since it's Velma, he does reveal it's a secret project for the military, but he wants info back, in the form of her phone number. In contrast to the very fresh labs, the other team arrive at the dilapidated bank, where inside they hear an ominous laugh and start getting thrown around again, so we know who the madman followed. And as for the attack dog... They toss the curtains on the guy so they can at least see him now, so the boys run to safety just as the front of the bank collapses. However, it seems the madman has yet again taken another member of the band. We'll be right back.
Look for What's New Scooby-Doo Volume 8 on DVD. Join them in 4 all-new tales from the hit TV show. And chase an invisible man.
It's the Invisible Madman!
With the same band that plays the Scooby-Doo theme song.
Our very own Simple Plan concert.
What's the Scooby-Doo?
Look for What's New Scooby-Doo Volume 8 on DVD.
Pizza fries, chocolate cake.
Collect this and other Scooby-Doo DVDs.
Velma believes Gibby to be behind this whole thing, understandably again, as he does have a record of being the villain.
Does this stuff happen to you guys a lot?
Too often.
Once in a while.
They then spot a cozy little cabin, even perfect for Daphne's tastes, and suspiciously they find a ton of musical equipment in the closet. In walks Eve de la Fay, immediately calling them spies. She introduces herself as the Montreal fashion designer, which rocks Daphne's world, being a huge fan, so Eve asks if she'd like to see her latest design.
Would I? I'll take that as a yes.
She unveils her lumberjack-inspired design, which doesn't inspire much love from anyone, the others abandoning Daphne with her for a moment. Sebastian sees someone fixing the bus meanwhile, Zeke popping out to show the mechanic he found, who of course is Jack Hunter. Shaggy finds the guy sus, and the others catch up to them in the middle of town, where they update them on the latest disappearance. Velma confirms this means the band is being targeted, just as Gibby pops back in, saying he has a videotape of the invisible madman he shot personally. She questions taping something invisible. He offers to take her back to his place to show her, and she's ready to just pin this all on him and go, desperately. Unfortunately, it seems it can't be him, as the madman is driving a snowplow right at them, forcing them to fall off the side of the cliff. They all escape from their snow landing, Scoob tossing his beautiful cut onto the others, but they realize Chuck and Seb have been taken by the madman as well, leaving only Pierre now.
Well, have you ever thought about a solo career? Just asking.
Velma can't make sense of Gibby being there when the madman was chasing them, but also having tabs on Zeke and Jack Hunter, genuinely only leaving Eve as the only one never around. Fred sends the others to check out her cabin, while he splits up with Scoob to get a whiff of the madman's scent. Obviously, his first scent goes back to the diner. Could've told you that would happen, but Fred gets him back on track. At the cabin, they question Eve's whereabouts, then find some cloth that Shaggy can see himself in, which she doesn't want them to have. Suddenly, Pierre gets lifted up, the madman striking again, ruling out Eve as well, made worse as the lights go out, and upon return, he's gone. As Scooby's trail seems hot, he and Fred get attacked by the laughing madman, and when Fred gets hurt, Scoob throws snow at the guy so he can chase him off and come to the rescue. They wake Fred up with the hot sauce we previously saw in Big Scare in the Big Easy, when they hear something over at the bank, the same sound coming from the safe that Shaggy heard last time he was here. Fred can't open the safe, so Daph has him step aside to do the real work with her card, revealing and freeing Simple Plan.
Now, did you get a good look at the invisible madman when he trapped you in there?
Well, no, actually, because he was, you know.
Oh, invisible. Right.
With every suspect seemingly cleared, Velma reveals she has the answer, just leaving the madman's capture now.
And I've got a simple plan.
I'm putting him in timeout. Fred has the band play in the open since they're being targeted, but they do not want to be live bait. So Daph offers some Scooby snacks. Apprehensive as they are, they seem to taste good enough, but as soon as they start playing, the attacks begin. Fred enacts his trap by throwing flour to visualize him, but he just removes it in the snow, so they run, and we get our chase sequence. You already know we're in for a Simple Plan song. This time, you don't mean anything.
Whoa, you don't mean anything to me.
I mean, what can I say? It fits perfect. Simple Plan is the best fit you could have for what's new. The madman runs into a high-voltage electrical force field, damaging his suit and revealing Zeke. Velma explains that it makes sense that his alibi was airtight, as everyone's was. Truly, the madman had to be more than one person. Gibby was working for Jack, creating the invisible camouflage suit, while Eve used her fashion knowledge to craft the reflective cloth. So, everyone's guilty. Zeke explains that they, too, have a band, believing they could replace Simple Plan at the festival if they were out of the way. Super random assortment of people, and they are not very good, to say the least.
The only rock your gang should learn is the jailhouse rock. Thank you. Thank you very much.
The gang make it later to enjoy Simple Plan's performance, but Shaggy gets an extra scare from the invisible madman, which, you know it, it's...
Scooby-Doo!
And that's Simple Plan and the Invisible Madman. This might be one of the best of What's New's twists the show has offered. The gang are just as confused as the audience here, because all of us have been taught that there will be red herrings, and then also one person we met at some point who is the culprit. But this episode makes sure to show us that every single person somehow has an alibi, and actually shakes things up more than the average episode. I think it's interesting that we immediately jump to an invisible madman specifically instead of a ghost, but either way it's kind of genius, as sort of like Ghostface in Scream, they simply switch it up to build up up their own alibis, leaving it to be any one of them whenever they need it. Anyone can be responsible. They're invisible. If it's Jack or it's Eve, it doesn't matter. And bringing back Gibby adds some good strength as well, not only providing some additional comedic relief with Velma's reactions that we understand because we've already met him before, but like with her, giving us reason to believe he's responsible because he has that record. We know we can't trust this creepy nerd boy. We don't have to have any doubt about that. I do wonder how some of them managed to pick up the members of the band. Maybe Jack if it was somehow only him, but Gibby and Eve definitely don't seem like they are muscular enough to be doing all that. I do think their motive of having a shitty band is kind of a silly ending. I wish there was maybe a little bit more to it, but that's really my only complaint for this episode. As for the stars of the evening, Simple Plan are basically a perfect guest choice for the show, because they are so heavily associated with good reason when it comes to the series. I think it would have been weirder for them to not have had a guest appearance. If there were going to be any celebrity guest, this had to be the one. David's appearance, of course, like with anything from the time, is a little awkward now, but thankfully he really doesn't leave that much of an impact in the episode if that's a problem for the viewer. I think that goes for the entire band though. If you were relying on this episode to introduce them to you, I don't know that you would completely get down their names and personalities, especially with there being 5 of them to keep track of, on top of all the other mini characters in this particular episode. This has always been the case with this type of episode for the series though. Going back to the new Scooby-Doo movies as I've been covering on the channel, the more the guest cast of characters you have, the less you're really gonna get to know them in the episode. But for a 21-minute episode, I think it still manages just fine. You get a sense of mostly who they are and what their dynamic is. You get to see them perform, and you're probably going to recognize their sound, even if you don't know who they are, just because they do sing music, such as the theme song of every episode, for the show already. And of course, anyone that's already a fan of the guys would certainly get a kick out of the episode, then as well as now. They've still performed the theme song in recent years and re-recorded it for streaming for a reason. People love their association with Scooby. Fans have nostalgia for this episode and the touches they left on the franchise, and I think that actually makes this one of the best and most permanently franchise-relevant guest choices for the series. As far as real celebrities go, when watching episodes for the previous video on What's New, I really did get so happy to hear one of their songs used in an episode, as this show is always pure 2000s, and music is one of the biggest things from this era that you could really touch on. And despite some setbacks here and there, Simple Plan, as they are in the current day, are still going strong for everyone that continues to love their music. After this, why don't we go give their modern recording of the theme song a good stream? Maybe go touch on their albums and visit it all again if we haven't lately. Whether anyone else considers this to be one of the most notable episodes of this era, this definitely will be one I'll continue to remember. That about wraps us up today though. If you want similar videos, I have a ton of the classic style crossovers and guests covering the new Scooby-Doo movies, episode by episode. More to come eventually. Or the prior What's New video touching on 2000s tech in the show. Whatever you choose, grab some good snacks first. Bye!